Hey everyone, welcome to KB Decor Crafts. For my first ever YouTube video, we are going to be making a Dollar Tree 12 Days of Christmas countdown sign. Now let's get started. I love the look of this sleigh that I found at Dollar Tree, so I decided to turn it into a countdown sign. Trying to remove all the excess glitter, I used a sanding block to scrub down as hard as I could to get all the glitter off. Here I'm just removing the tags, and with apple barrels of burnt umber acrylic paint, I'm painting over the faux wooden areas of the sleigh. I didn't want to get any paint on the jute string, so I just removed that for now, but we'll be reattaching that later. Using Waverly chalk paint in the color crimson, I'm covering over the banner that says Merry Christmas on top. I gave this about 2 thick coatings, making sure to cover everything underneath. Now here you'll see me covering the top of the sign with Waverly white chalk paint, but I quickly decided that wasn't going to be good enough and it was bubbling up, so I removed it off the initial sleigh and turned it around to paint on the backside since there was nothing behind. I just ripped off any excess pieces that came up when I ripped off the sign and sanded down as much as I could off the hot glue. There were a couple metal pieces that were attached to the sleigh that I just pulled off using some pliers. Now, using my white Waverly chalk paint, I painted the entire backside of the sign with 2 coats. For my countdown numbers, I'm using the wooden numbers I found at Dollar Tree. I pulled them all out, making sure I had 2 of every number and none were broken. Using that same crimson red, I painted all of the numbers with 2 coats, making sure to get around all of the edges. While those dried, I took a roller and made my faux wooden slabs across my entire sleigh. These were about 1.5 inches apart. I kind of like the look of the different sizing. That's just my personal preference, but if you wanted to be more centered or more even, I would suggest measuring out better. Using that burnt umber once again to go over my lines with a thin brush. I like giving any piece of mine that has a faux wood more of a distressed look with a dry old brush and that burnt umber paint once again. I dab any excess off on a paper towel and then brush all around the edges and all down the wooden slabs. Using a piece of sandpaper or sanding block helps to tone down the harsh look of the dark paint and gives it a more distressed look. Now, just using some hot glue, I'm going to glue back on my sleigh board. It's already starting to look so cute and I can't wait to decorate it. Now that my wooden numbers are dry, I just glue them on with hot glue. It was around this time that I started realizing that I was missing another number 1 for my number 12. So I would suggest having 3 packs of numbers to complete this set. I tried to make another number 1 with the number 7, but it didn't look right at all. So I had to go back to Dollar Tree to get another pack of numbers, and surprisingly, this set, the number 1, was a little thinner than my initial pack, which I thought was odd, but it was what I had to deal with, so I made the best of it. The Dollar Tree carries so many beautiful Christmas ribbons. I chose this holly berry burlap ribbon to create a bow. Now, I'm not the best at creating bows, so I had to look on YouTube to figure out how to make one, but I'll try to explain this the best I can. So you'll need to fold over your ribbon so that the both ends are sticking out on opposite sides, turning the ribbon over, making sure to squeeze and pinch in the center, and with a piece of jute string tying around it as tightly as you can, creating a double knot. So then just cut off the excess string and make sure to fluff up the bow. And with a pair of scissors, I just cut off 2 small triangle pieces on the end to give my bow a prettier look. Dollar Tree is carrying some beautiful Christmas picks. So I grabbed this one that had some holly berries and some pine cones, but the pine cones were a little too big for my bow, so luckily I had these little tiny pine cone ornaments I had grabbed from Walmart, which were very inexpensive as well. I did make 2 different size bows to see which one would fit better. I went with the bigger option that I initially had made. So I'm cutting off the string to my pine cones, and with some apple barrel white paint, I'm just adding some white paint all over to give it a snow effect. You just need to lightly brush around the entire pine cone and it'll give it just the right amount of paint. I'm gluing on some holly berries to the center of my bow and adding 1 pine cone to the side of it. With a white paint pen, I'll be writing on the words, "Oh, what fun," on the top banner of the sleigh. Now here you can be as creative as you want. I just use a typical cursive font for this, but if you had a Cricut, you could design your own font for this lettering. I'm not so lucky just yet, so for now, I'm just going to handwrite it myself. With some white paint and a thin brush, I'm going to go over my lettering to give it a more opaque look. Now for my wreaths, I grabbed some from last year's Christmas collection from Michael's, but I'm sure they still have something similar, or you could use any type of wreaths. I had to cut this one in order to make it a little bigger and use a piece of that one to adhere to my other wreath, just to give it a right amount to be able to display my numbers underneath it. I attached the extra piece with some hot glue, and I made sure to fluff it up since I was kind of compressing it with my fingers. With some white paint and a dry brush, I just dried on the bristles to give it more of that snow effect, since I did take some of it off as I was trying to add on that extra piece. I made sure that it was going to fit perfectly around my numbers to see through, and with a piece of jute string, I cut a piece long enough to be able to attach to the back and reach all my numbers even to the bottom. Once I had my measurement in place, I glued on the string with some hot glue, and I tugged on to the back of the string behind the board to make sure I didn't have any excess hanging string. Now, flipping the board over and keeping the string nice and tight, I made sure to glue down some hot glue to seal it down, and then more hot glue on top of the string to make sure it wasn't going anywhere. And then I just cut off my excess string. Now I can attach the original jute string that was on the sign to begin with, in case I wanted to hang this sign up. Now the last thing to do is to make sure that my wreath wouldn't go anywhere when I wanted it to stay on one specific number, so I found these magnets at the Dollar Tree, glued one behind the wreath, and made sure I had the other one behind. Now you're free to move the wreath down to continue your countdown. I absolutely adore how this sign came out, and I cannot wait to display this for Christmas this year. I want to thank you guys for watching, and if you get to recreate this sign, I would love for you to tag me on Instagram. If you are already following me on Instagram, thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you are new to my DIYs, I highly suggest you check out my Instagram page in the link below to see more of my easy crafts. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos. See you next time.